Okay. Yesterday we discussed about general features of prokaryotic cells. In that, some already finished. That is cell wall, cell membrane. Next one is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. See, we are discussing about cell wall. Cell wall. Next. This is cell membrane. Next, another one, the most part is covered by plasma membrane. Cell membrane is also called plasma membrane. This is called plasma cytoplasm. So this is cytoplasm. 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 The cytoplasm is granular. The cytoplasm is granular due to the presence of granular material, that is ribosomes, and inclusion bodies. Inclusion bodies. These two are present in the cytoplasm. Ribosomes, like this. These are ribosomes. These are all ribosomes. And inclusion bodies, inclusion bodies, nothing but stored granules. The food material is stored in the form of lipids, glycogen granules, or other materials. So due to the presence of these, it seems to be granular. Okay, that is called cytoplasm, ribosomes. Ribosomes, these are all ribosomes. The ribosomes actually involved in protein synthesis. So we will discuss more and more information about ribosomes and inclusion bodies. Here, ribosomes. So the cytoplasmic matrix of the prokaryotic cell is packed with ribosomes. These are ribosomes. Cytoplasmic matrix of the prokaryotic cells is packed with ribosomes. Okay, so generally these are scattered in the cytoplasmic matrix. Some of the ribosomes are scattered, distributed in the cytoplasmic matrix. Even some are attached to the cell membrane. Some ribosomes are attached to the cell membrane. That is the first point. So first point are ribosomes. Ribosomes scattered or distributed in the cytoplasm. Some are even attached to the cell membrane. That is first statement. Even attached to the cell membrane. The ribosomes is about 14 to 20 nanometers in size. In prokaryotes, the ribosomes 14 to 15 into 20 nanometers in size. Next, these ribosomes are responsible for the synthesis of proteins. Actually, in our body, eukaryotic organisms also, prokaryotic organisms also, ribosomes are responsible for the synthesis of proteins. Ribosomes are responsible for the synthesis of proteins. So those proteins only act as hormones, enzymes, etc. in our body and in prokaryotic organisms. We are discussing about prokaryotic organisms. In prokaryotic organisms also, ribosomes are responsible for the synthesis of proteins. So these ribosomes are attached to the mRNA. See, actually this is mRNA. mRNA. M stands for messenger RNA. mRNA. It is 5' direction, 3' direction. Okay, so mRNA is actually responsible for the synthesis of proteins. Synthesis of the proteins. That is the thing. So here it is a large subunit, small subunit. Large subunit, small subunit, large, small. What is large and small subunits? Generally, here ribosomes in eukaryotes, ribosomes are in prokaryotes. In prokaryotic organisms, the ribosomes are 50s ribosomes. 50s ribosomes. What is meaning of 50s? So 50, the ribosomes size is 50. Svedberg unit. S stands Svedberg unit. Sedimentation coefficient. Sedimentation coefficient value. So when from the cytoplasm, ribosomes are separated by the scientists, at the time that prokaryotic ribosome sedimentation settled, when those ribosomes are settled at the test tube, at that moment the ribosomes are seems to be 50. Their particle size seems to be 50. Therefore, it is called 50s ribosomes. So ribosomes particle size is 50. Okay, that's all. So S means Svedberg units. For the ribosomes, they have given units. Svedberg unit. Svedberg unit nothing but sedimentation. When they are settled at the bottom of the test tube, those according to their size, that particular scientist, Svedberg scientist gave name 50. So since then it is called 50s ribosomes, 50s ribosomes. Svedberg means the scientist who identified ribosomes, his name is Svedberg. Since then it is called Svedberg unit. Some scientists are called sedimentation. When the ribosomes are settled at the bottom of the test tube, that segment value, the particular value, size appear to be 50. So then they used to call 50s numbers. So each ribosome is made up of two subunits. One is the large subunit is 30s. Small subunit is 70s. Here little correction. 70s. 70s. Okay, 70s ribosome. Prokaryotic organisms contains 70s ribosome. So each ribosome is made up of two subunits. 50s, 30s here. I said 50s to base to here. Once correct element. So in prokaryotic organisms, ribosomes are 70s ribosome. This ribosome consists of two subunits. 30s, 50s. We should not combine and calculate. Okay, it is the last subunit. 50s. It says 50s. Okay, see here. It is last subunit. Its size is 50. It is small subunit. It is 30. Okay, we should not calculate 30 and 50. Okay, that's all. So in prokaryotes, ribosomes are 70s ribosomes. It has two subunits, 30s and 50s subunits. That is, S stands for Svedberg unit. S stands for Svedberg unit. That is that. Okay. That's that. So it is large, it is small. 50s, 30s. Like this, a number of ribosomes are attached to mRNA strand. And when these are attached to mRNA, it helps to synthesize proteins. That process is called protein synthesis. When the number of ribosomes are attached to the mRNA strand, these ribosomes are called polysomes. These ribosomes are called polysomes. These are also called polyribosomes. These are also called polyribosomes. That is the explanation about the ribosomes. So about ribosomes, more and more information about it, protein synthesis. Huge information is there actually. That information I will give discussion with you in next PUC, second PUC. Here, that much huge information we will not discuss. We will discuss about ribosomes. Ribosomes' main function is it is involved in protein synthesis. For the protein synthesis, what are the factors involved? What are the enzymes involved? What is the genetic material is involved? The total information we will keep discussion in next second year. Okay, that's all. This is an explanation about the ribosomes. Next, inclusion bodies. Inclusion bodies. See, the inclusion bodies in prokaryotes, in prokaryotic organisms or bacteria, the food is stored in the cytoplasm as inclusion bodies are stored granules. Stored granules. In prokaryotic organisms, the food material is stored in the form of inclusion bodies. Inclusion bodies nothing but stored food material. The food material is stored. Okay, that's it. So generally, inclusion bodies are one is storage granules. Second one is organic inclusions. Third one is inorganic inclusions. Third one is inorganic inclusions. Storage inclusions. So storage inclusions. In this one, the food material is stored. The food material is stored in the form of glycogen granules. Glycogen granules. Stored granules are stored food granules. In them, the food material is stored in the form of glycogen and Synophysian granules. Synophysian granules. The food material is stored in the form of Synophysian granules. Okay, that's all. Next, organic inclusions. Gas vacuole. Gas vacuole. The gas vacuole, the food is stored in the form of organic inclusion. Next, inorganic inclusion. Inclusion. The food material is stored in the form of volutin granules. That may be phosphate and sulfate granules. Phosphate and sulfate granules. So they are called inorganic inclusions. In such a way, the food material is stored in various forms. That is stored food granules. The food material is stored in the form of glycogen granules and synophysian granules. Organic inclusions. So gas vacuoles, in the form of gas vacuole, the food material is stored. Vacuole, in them food material is stored. Inorganic inclusions. Volutin granules, that's phosphate and sulfates. Next here, so the inclusion bodies is stored food material in the cytoplasm without any membrane. Inclusion bodies store the food material without any membranes. Simply, all the food materials are lying freely in the cytoplasm. So all the food materials are lying located freely in the cytoplasm without any membrane. So this is the explanation about inclusion bodies. Come to the point. So we are discussing about the general features of the prokaryotic cells. In the general features, we are discussed already up to now cell wall, cell membrane, cytoplasm. Now we will discuss about Genetic material. Genetic material. So generally, in the prokaryotic organisms, the genetic material is located in the form of single circular DNA. In the form of single circular DNA, like this. In the form of single circular DNA, without nuclear membrane. Without any nuclear membrane. In the cytoplasm, where single circular DNA is located, that region is called nuclear region. Okay, so in that nuclear region, DNA is present in the form of specific units, discrete units. Discrete units means what? Specific units. Those specific units are called in cytoplasm, where genetic material is lying. That particular place is called nuclear region. Generally, in the prokaryotes, genetic material is not covered by any nuclear. That is called genetic material. Flagella. So many bacteria may or may not be possesses flagella. Majority of the bacteria, they may contain locomotory organ, that is called flagella. Many bacteria may contain more than one flagella, that is called locomotory organ. Locomotory organ, that is called flagella. 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 It is called flagella. It is called flagella. The flagella consists of three parts. One is base body. This is called base body. Base body. One is called base body. Base body. Second one is hook. It is called hook. Here, in this base body, hook. In the hook, the filamentous or thread-like structure called flagellum. Filament. Okay, so the center structure is called flagellum. The flagellum consists of three parts: base body, hook, and filamentous structure. As it helps in locomotion of the bacteria. Okay, this is the explanation about flagellum. Next, pili. It is also called sex pili. So the pili, it is elongated. Elongated. It is elongated. This is called, it is elongated. Tube-like fine structure. It is elongated. Tube-like fine structure, which is made up of a special protein that is called pitin. Made up of a special protein called pitin. Object to discussion. Flagellum, sorry. Pili is made up of a specific type of a protein. That protein name is called pitin. Pitin. Okay, that's all. Next, are involved in sexual intercourse. The bacterium also involved in sexual intercourse. In that sexual intercourse, this pili helps in attaching bacteria to another bacteria. This pili help the bacteria to attach with another bacteria during sexual reproduction. How it will be? With the help of this is small one bacteria. With the help of this, it is attached to another bacteria. So it is a donor bacteria. We will call donor bacteria or male cell. Male cell. It is recipient bacteria. Recipient bacteria are female cell. It is female cell. It is male cell. When both are combined together for sexual intercourse, at that time, this pili helps to attach both the bacteria together. Okay, so in bacteria, when both the bacteria are fused with each other, that kind of a reproduction is called conjugation. Conjugation. In bacteria, intercourse is called conjugation. When both the bacteria, it is donor bacteria, it is recipient bacteria. That means what? From this, genetic material is transferred to this. Male will transfer genetic material to the female one. That kind of a reproduction, that kind of a intercourse is called conjugation. For the conjugation, pili play a major role. Therefore, it is called sexual pili, sex pili or sexual pili. Okay. Next one. Fimbriae. Fimbriae. It is a small, bristle, small, bristle, small, bristle, bristle like fiber, bristle like fiber. It is small. Bristle means what? Hair like fiber, hair like fiber. Protein from the outer surface of the bacteria, outer surface of the bacteria, outer surface of the bacteria. These are called fimbriae. The fimbriae help the bacteria to attach with another bacteria or to the rocks or to the host cells. Okay, so this fimbriae help the bacteria to attach with another bacteria or with our body tissues, or in the water. If the bacteria is present in water, with the help of fimbriae, it is attached to the rocks. In such a way, fimbriae help the bacteria to attach with another bacteria. Okay, that is the general feature of the prokaryotic organism, fimbriae. Last and final, plasmids. Plasmid. Every bacterium has autonomously replicating circular extra chromosomal DNA. Autonomously replicating. Autonomous means its own. Autonomously replicating, multiplying. Autonomously replicating extra circular chromosomal DNA is called plasmid. Autonomously replicating. Replicating means multiplying. Extracircular chromosomal DNA is called plasmid. These plasmids are used in genetic engineering experiments, especially in biotechnology. About these plasmids, you will study in XPUC. Okay, that's all. This is the information about the plasmids. So plasmids are mainly used in genetic engineering experiments in biotechnology. That is the information about the plasmids. So these are all related to general features of the prokaryotic organisms. Okay. Next topic. Ultrastructure of the prokaryotic cells. Ultrastructure of prokaryotic cells. In this order structure of the prokaryotic cells, the structure of bacteria can be observed clearly through an electron microscope. When this bacteria can be observed through an electron microscope, we can study all internal parts of that particular bacteria. So when we will observe bacteria through electron microscope, at that time we will see various parts. Those are cell envelope and its modifications. Cell envelope and its modifications. So first of all, cell envelope and its modifications. Cell envelope. So the cell envelope, it is the outermost part of the bacteria. Many prokaryotic cells, especially bacterial cells, have chemically complex cell envelope. See, many prokaryotic cells, especially bacterial cells, have chemically complex cell envelope that is present in the outermost part of the bacterial cells. So that cell envelope consists of various layers. Those are all the layers are present one above the another, or one beside the other, one below the another. First, second, third, like that, one below the. Okay, the cell envelope consists of various layers. Those layers are present one below the other, or one above the. These are all the layers are bounded tightly. Those layers we will see. Cell envelope mainly consists of three parts. Those are the first one is glycocalyx. Second one is cell wall. Third one is cell membrane. Glycocalyx, it is the outermost. Glycocalyx, it is the outermost part of the prokaryotic cell. It is in the form of capsule or slime layer. It is in the form of capsule or slime layer. So see, outside of the bacteria, there is a like this way, capsule or slime layer is present. There is prokaryotic cell. Outside the bacterial cell, there is a capsule. That capsule or slime layer is present. That is called glycocalyx. It is the outermost part of the bacteria. That is called capsule or slime layer. That is called glycocalyx. So this capsule or slime layer help the bacteria from dangerous events. See, the glycocalyx is the outermost part. It is in the form of capsule or slime layer. So this gives protection to the bacteria from chemical and mechanical injuries. Or from parasites or any from other pathogens. Okay, so this is in such a way glycocalyx and capsule or slime layer help the bacteria. Okay, that is the first. Next, this capsule enable the bacteria. To attach one bacteria to another and form the colonies. So this capsule, another bacteria will come and attach. To this capsule, another bacteria comes and attach. To this cell, another bacteria. To this cell comes and attach another bacteria. In such a way, This capsule enables the bacteria to attach one bacteria to another bacteria and forms huge bacterial colony. That is one function of the capsule. And one more function. Here we have to keep heading function. Function of glycocalyx. Function of glycocalyx. Function of glycocalyx. The first one, this capsule protects the bacteria from the chemical and mechanical injuries or any other parasites. Second, the capsule enables the bacteria to attach with each other and forms colonies. Third, this enables the bacteria to attach with the food materials or host organism, etc. Okay, so this capsule helps the bacteria to attach with the food materials or host organisms or with any other protein materials. In such a way, glycocalyx gives protection to the bacteria. Next is cell wall. Everybody knows that already we discussed. Next to the capsule there is a rigid. There is a rigid layer is called cell wall. Being rigid, it protects the bacteria from chemical and mechanical injury or any from other parasites. That is the cell wall function. So the cell wall, this is the cell wall. The cell wall acts as a strong structural support. Being a strong structural support, the bacteria prevent bursting or collapsing in hypotonic solution, in lower concentration of solution. When bacteria is surviving in lower concentration of solution, the cell wall is not burst or collapse because the cell wall being structural support, being structural support of the cell, it prevents the bacteria from bursting or collapsing in hypotonic solution. Hypotonic solution. Hypotonic solution is what? Lower solutes. Lower solutes are lower concentrations. When it is surviving in lower concentration of solutions, at that time, this cell wall protect the bacteria from closing, from collapsing or bursting. Okay, so that is the cell wall explanation. Third one, cell membrane. Already we knew that. So innermost layer, this is cell membrane, nothing but plasma membrane. It encloses inner parts of the prokaryotes. Okay, this is the complete information about prokaryotic, general features of the prokaryotic organism. General features of the prokaryotic organism.